Welcome to today's discussion from Bhagavad Gita as it is, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, Srila Prabhupada. We have discussed up to verses 30 so far, and we are going to cover verses 31 to verses 40 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Karoti vachalam pangum langayate kiram yat kripatamam vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Verse 31. Yaya dharmam chad karyam cha karyameva cha ayathav prajanati buddhi sa partharajasi. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. Verse 32. Adharmam dharmamiti ya manyate tamasa vrita sarvarthan viparitamscha buddhi sa parthatamasi. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives away in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. Verse 33. Dhritya yaya dharayate manah pranendriya kriyaha yogena vyabhicharanya dhritihi sa partha satviki. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of mind, life and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. Verse 34. Yaya tu dharma kamarthan dhritya dharayate arjuna prasangena falakankshi dhriti sa partharajasi. But that determination which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. Verse 35. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madameva cha na vimunchati dhurmedha dhritihi sa parthatamasi. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness. Verse 36. Sukham tvidanim trividham shrinu me bharatarshabha abhyasadramate yatra dukhantam cha nigachati. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. Verse 37. Yat dagre vishamiv pariname amritopamam tatsukham satvikam proktam atmabuddhi prasadajam. That which is the beginning may be just like the poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Verse 38. Vishayendriya samyoga detat dagre amritopamam pariname vishamiv tat sukham rajasam smritam. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end is said to be the nature of passion. Yadagre chanubandhe cha sukham mohan matmanah nidra alasya pramadotham tattamasa mudaritam. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be the nature of ignorance. Verse 40. Na tat sati prithivyam cha divi devesho va punah satvam prakriti jair muktam yad ebhi syat tribhir gunah. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is free from these three modes born of material nature. So the activities, how they are affected by the different modes, that is being discussed in the verses so far, and it's going to carry on in the next verses up to verse 48. Up to 40, it is still the modes of how the modes are, they are controlling the activities, that is going to be discussed. In verse 31, Bhagwan is saying that Arjun, O son of Pritha, the understanding which cannot distinguish between the religion and irreligion, and between action that should be done and the action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. In verse 32, Bhagwan is saying that the understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion, darkness, and always strives in the wrong direction, is in the mode of ignorance. So in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of darkness, the intelligence is working always in the wrong way. It accepts what is right to be wrong, and that's why it rejects the religion and accepts the irreligion. And it will accept a great soul to be a common man, and a common man to be a great soul. This is the example given by Prabhupada in the purport. So all these activities, when they are in the mode of ignorance, they will be leading to wrong paths. In verse 33 to 35, Bhagwan will talk about the determination for action. Dhritya, word used in verse 33, means determination. Bhagwan says, O son of Pritha, that determination which is unshakable, unbreakable, and which is kept steady by the yoga practice, and which controls the activities of mind, life, and senses, is in the mode of goodness, that determination. So what does yoga means? As we've been discussing, yoga means is to understand the God, to become totally in surrender of the Lord. So the one whose intelligence is fixed in the Lord with determination, by concentrating their mind, life, and all the activities, is going to be in Krishna consciousness, and that sort of determination will be in the mode of goodness. So such a person is never going to be deviated by any other activity, but in serving the Lord in Krishna consciousness. In verse 34, Bhagwan says that the determination by which one holds fast to the results, the fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification, is of the nature of passion. So any person who is very much desirous of the activities of their work in religious or in economic activities, when you're working, then that is only desiring sense gratification, in just enjoying yourself, and that person's mind, life, and senses are engaged in mode of passion. Verse 35, Bhagwan says that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, that is an unintelligent determination, and that is in the mode of darkness. So the person's doesn't mean that persons in mode of goodness, they don't dream. They in this verse, dream means too much sleep. Dreaming is always there in the sleep, Prabhupada reminds us, but who cannot avoid oversleeping and who cannot avoid the pride of enjoying the material objects and always are imagining how to enjoy more and more. Thus, their life, mind, and senses are engaged in the mode of ignorance. So they have the determination also in the mode of ignorance. In verse 36, Bhagavan is saying that, O best of Bharatas, hear from me about the three kinds of happiness which the conditioned souls enjoy and by which sometimes the conditioned souls, they come to the end of all distress as well. So in verses 36 to 39, fruit of action, that is happiness, is going to be described. So all the conditioned souls, all of us, we want to enjoy the material happiness again and again. And Prabhupada uses the famous verse, thus he chews the chewed. So what has been thoroughly enjoyed, they want to enjoy it again and again and again. And sometimes by doing that, they become free of the miseries of day-to-day life. And that only happens when they come in contact with the great realized, self-realized soul. When the soul will understand, the conditioned soul will understand that by good association, by good sangat, that person is going to actually slowly awaken their Krishna consciousness, the love of God, then they are going to be getting their real happiness from such repetitive association. In verse 37, Krishna says that which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. So when a person is trying to find out more about themselves, they're trying to realize that they're trying to understand their position, that they are the soul, not this body. They're trying to self-realize. They have to follow lots of rules and regulations. They have to how to control the mind and the senses so that they can concentrate on their mind, concentrate their mind on themselves, that is their soul. But this is very difficult. It is very difficult. It is just like poison. But once when one is successful by following the rules and regulations and one comes to the transcendental platform, they start to taste the real nectar or the amrit and they start to enjoy the life. So this is in the mode of goodness. It's poison in the beginning and nectar in the end. And in verse 38, Bhagavan is saying that happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first and poison in the end is said to be the nature of passion. Prabhupada gives the famous example of the union of a man and a woman and that how they will derive the happiness and it will be very pleasing to their senses, but the end or soon after they realize that it is not much of happiness. When they have to, when there is separation or there's some kind of all kinds of things happen in the life, then there's lamentation, there's sorrow. So this kind of happiness is always in the mode of passion, which is nectar in the beginning and not very happy in the end. Because this kind of happiness is derived from the combination of the senses, sense objects, and this is always going to cause the distress. So what kind of happiness we are pursuing in our life, that will determine our rise or fall in life. Verse 39, Bhagwan says that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from the beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness and illusion, is said to be the nature of ignorance. So the happiness which is completely oblivious to the awakening of the self, that to find out more about ourselves, who is not at all concerned about the concept of self-realization, of understanding that we are the eternal souls and we are not just these bodies. So that kind of happiness is in the mode of ignorance, because that in mode of ignorance, person is deriving pleasure in lot of sleep, laziness, and they've got no idea what to do. That such a person is under complete illusion, and they have no happiness either at the beginning or at the end. So for the person who is in mode of passion, at least there's some happiness they get in the beginning, although it ends in distress, in unhappiness. And for the in mode of ignorance, it is distress throughout from the beginning to end. Verse 40, Bhagwan says that there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. So below the Vaikuntha planets, up to all the material planets, even up to where there is Swarg, which we know as heaven, even the demigods, they have got bodies and they suffer similar effects from the three modes of material nature. So wherever there is material nature, the entities living in the material nature, they are going to suffer the effects of three modes on their action, on their determination, and the happiness or distress they get from it. In mode of goodness, at least it starts with the poison. It's difficult to observe all the rules and regulations to control your mind, and because you have to give your time to Krishna, and you have to understand your position in this world, and it's very difficult in the beginning, but when one gets self-realized, it is like nectar. In the mode of passion, in the beginning it seems very, very happy, and it results in complete distress. And ignorance, the determination is, and the activities, they are unhappy from start to finish. That's it. Thank you for joining today, and tomorrow we will cover verses 41 onwards. Wish you all a very blissful week. Hare Krishna.